Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another Reggie Segment podcast. I'm so excited for you guys to be here listening to my wonderful voice, as I like to call it. You know, sometimes a little choppy, but today is great. And you guys, this is another Reggie and Friends podcast. You know, I know you've often heard Mama and I podcast, which you guys love so much because we just cut up and act fools. But today, I have a very special friend with me, and that is none other than Carmen Fox. And we will be talking about addressing change in your life and the importance of addressing that change in your life. But before we get started, you guys, I want to let you know that it's time to subscribe. It's time to hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit that bell on the side so that way you can be notified when I post a new video on the Reggie Segment. We're just getting started, you guys. I can't wait for this change. But without further ado, let me introduce my great friend. You've seen her on the Reggie and Carmen DIY segments. You've seen her host bingo and trivia with me. She is the brains, hallelujah, behind my mouth, because I told her, I said, don't ask me to write no questions, girl. And don't ask me to control that computer either, but I give it to her and she runs with it. So without further ado, you guys, let's hear from Carmen. Say hi to the people, girl.
Hello, everybody. How are you guys doing this fine day? Go on ahead and drop it down in the comments because we would love to see how you're doing.
It is always good to talk back to us, you know, even though we're not seeing it live, so we can't respond. But on a later date.
Yeah. And we can see down in the comments and be like, oh, when are you guys watching it? And we can respond to you guys.
That's right. Oh, I'm watching it in Alaska in 2025. Oh, my God.
Oh, that's a little off, but cool beans. Welcome to the party.
Right, hey. But like I said, you guys, we'll be talking about addressing change. And if you don't know, we are both juniors in college here at Frostburg State University. Okay?
Yes.
And Carmen, what are you and what's your profession that you're taking up?
I'm going to be a teacher. I'm going to be secondary English. So it's like middle and high school. Middle and high school English because I like to kill myself with papers. That's pretty much it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's just I want to be a teacher, and I learned this past semester that I really like working with 7th graders.
Wow.
Which is really fun.
Wow. That weird stage of life.
But you know what? I'm going through it with them. So it's just like, yo, I feel you guys.
Right.
So much.
So this is right up the alley, right? This is right up the alley. Because, you know, in middle school, wow, people say that, you know, in middle school, you try to find yourself and you go through all of that stuff. I didn't do too much of trying to find myself. I was like, how do I just stay afloat at that point?
Yeah.
You know, and then in high school was really like they're trying to find.
Yeah.
You know, but people have different strokes. It's different strokes for different folks, as they say.
Well, one of the biggest changes that's going on, like emotionally for middle schoolers at that time is like puberty. That's like one of the biggest changes. And it's 120 kids in your class going through puberty all at the same time.
Okay.
That's just like, whoa.
Say it's not menopause, it's not a midlife crisis, but honey, this is puberty. Okay.
It is puberty.
Because when I was in middle school, how old was I? I was 11
It's
through
about 11 through 14.
14,
yeah.
yes. 11 through 14. So I went through puberty and everything, but really like that bad acne stage.
Yes.
And that right there, like if being that age isn't hard enough by itself.
Yeah.
Now you have to not want to look at yourself sometimes. Like, oh my God. Like, can it get any worse, you know?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, but we made it through.
Yeah, we
I
did.
mean, did you?
That's the question.
I don't want to make the assumption. Did you make it through?
Sort of.
First, we're just going to address change in our life just this past year. Because this is, I wouldn't call it the year after the pandemic because we're still in it. This is the year of 2021 for those who don't know. For those who have been sleeping under a little rock. And little patucks in the river. I'm just kidding. So for those who have been doing that, this is the year 2021, and it has really been something. You know, just thinking about this school year alone. It started in August. last year.
August.
Yeah, I started in August of last year. And just thinking about how much, like, from the deaths of the students here on campus, which was really something.
Yes.
And even in my personal life, I had a couple of friends back home from middle school. And since we talk about it, a friend of mine died in a motor accident. And then also embracing my newfound passion and purpose, which is also my major. Thank God. Thankful for that.
Praise be.
Okay. Praise be. I need to watch Handmaid's Tale. Thank you for saying praise be. Let me see. I got a mask sitting here. It's so funny how she said praise be. Does this say blessed be the fruit or praise be? And it says praise be. How funny is that? Yes. Well, in case you don't know about Handmaid, you guys, you can look out for that. I'll be doing some reactions to that.
Ooh, okay, good, because I've never watched it.
Exactly.
And I don't have Hulu. Well, I currently don't have Hulu. Apparently, my sister's just gotten it, so I'm going to get it from her.
You know what? Speaking of addressing change and Hulu and stuff, Hulu, if you're listening to this, I don't know who told you to raise the price on Spotify and Hulu without emailing us first. As students, we were supposed to get it for 4 years, and it's supposed to be $4.99 for both services as a student. I look back at my credit card statements about 3 months ago, and they've been charging me $21. And I don't have a problem because it's good services combined, and it's very expensive separate, but I want to know why.
Did you renew your student?
It lasts for 4 years. That's the thing.
Yeah, sometimes they're annoying and they make you renew it every year.
But I've been in college for 3 years.
Well, no, because like I use Apple Music. I don't use Spotify. And they have you renew it every year. That's just like, hey, this is like, they just have you go into your Unidays account and just renew it and just say, hey, I'm still a student, which I'm actually able to use as a loophole because the renewal process happens in April and I still have my student email, so I'll be able to use it for 5 years instead of 4.
See, well, that's okay though. That's all right.
That's
you can
okay.
use it. You can use it because you got it. Use it because
I
you
got
got it. So now, back to what I was saying. You said praise be. And I was just like, going through that alone and trying to manage my mental health.
Yes.
You know about that. We both do.
Yes, absolutely.
She was just asleep today.
Yes.
Taking a mental break.
Yes, I was taking a little bit of a mental break today after I had an interview for something. And it ended up getting emotional. And so I was like, well, I need sleep now.
Yeah.
that was like, I'm drained. It's time to go take a nap.
Yeah. See, and that's a part of addressing it because you have to, when you go through things like that, it's not being afraid to let it happen. Letting it happen around the right people.
Yeah.
You also learn that in college. You really do. And then also, like letting it happen and knowing that, okay, what steps I had to take to like rejuvenate myself or, get through it or let it soak in. Realize what happened and then move forward from it.
Yeah.
Some people say, oh no, I'm not going to talk about it. And then it stays in and they don't cry it out or whatever.
Yeah.
Or some people go cry it out and then they don't take a nap. They just move on, keep running. And it's like, then they just break down. It's like, no.
It's like, no, it's so important. And as you already said, making sure that you unload it on the right people.
Yes.
Because if you don't unload it on the right people, you're not going to feel comfortable afterwards. You're going to be like, did I make a mistake? Did I do something wrong? Like, should I have not let it out on them? And you know that you let it on the wrong person whenever they give you an emotional response back.
Ooh.
Like an actual, not like a thank you for telling me response. They give you some other response. And you're like, oh.
Exactly.
Maybe this was wrong. And so finding those people that it's like, they're going to say, thank you for telling me. And then maybe here's a next step for you. Like if something like major happened, so giving you a next step, those are the people that you want to unload on whenever you're having those major changes.
That's right.
So, because I know that from personal experience.
Yeah, amen. Because that's good right there. Yeah. Because you don't want to unload on somebody and then they be like, wait, you know what? Let me just go and then they do something to themselves or whatever, or they, or
go and tell it to your entire dorm.
Ooh.
Yup.
Ooh.
Oh.
And that's another thing. If you're listening to this and you're coming to college, please be wary.
Yes.
And we want you to have your own experiences.
Yeah, absolutely.
We want you to grow and want you to learn. But take our advice.
Yes, absolutely. If you're like, just make sure you're surrounding yourself with the right people and making sure you're bringing the right people close to you.
What kind of things have you experienced? Or what is like something that has been majorly a major turning point? Because you didn't switch majors.
No, I never switched majors.
You never switched majors. So like, what has been a major turning point in your life?
Okay.
As much as I watch you, I don't know it all.
Yeah. No. It's fine. I guess I'll throw out the thing that actually got me kind of upset today. I definitely won't go into details, but there was there were a string of situations my first semester here at Frostburg, and it ended up being one of the most emotionally draining semesters of my life, like just in general.
So even more than this one? Oh my God.
Yeah, no. I actually wouldn't say that, but that's just because as you get further in your programs, you get more stressed. But like emotional, social stress, that was the most I've ever been in my life.
Yeah.
And it was just like situation after situation after situation, and it was like just awful because of like it was like I felt like I couldn't get out of it.
Yeah.
Because at the time I couldn't. Mm-hmm. Because this was like all the people that I was hanging out with. I was with them in all my classes. We lived together. And it was just everywhere. We were all together. And then the next semester started. I got hired at UPC.
Look at God.
Yes. And thank the Lord above I got that job.
Yes. Thank the Lord above that she got that job because she met me and I'm the best thing ever happened to her. Okay, but go ahead. Continue.
Absolutely.
Continue.
No.
But no, just in general, the people there were just so positive. Yeah. And it really helped make me realize that, wow, the social situation that I'm currently in is not okay.
Yes.
And it's like finding the right people, and you're going to know when you find those right people, and not even just UPC, because I started hanging out with a few of them outside of time.
Mm-hmm. Just a few.
But I started hanging out with like them outside of like work time, and it was like, wow, we actually have a lot in common.
Yeah.
And it was so much more positive than the experience I was feeling in the dorms. And I just decided, wow, okay, I just need to step away from them for my own benefit so that I don't fall back into those routines.
Yes.
And it was finding the right people is some of the best ways, and like getting out of your comfort zone, taking that job that you weren't sure you were right for.
Yeah.
Or even joining a new organization with like people that you actually feel for. Like I know Fandom Society on campus. I'm sure I never got to go, but I've heard from some people that it was an awesome experience for them because it was like they weren't sure that anybody else on campus had like similar interests in them. And then you go into Fandom Society and there's so much different stuff that they're involved in that they enjoy, and then you like find those people, and it's just like the best experience whenever you're like, wow, I'm not alone. Yeah. And I felt alone that first semester here at Frostburg.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. See? And, you know, I'm glad you, and that's why I started smiling. Because when you said that, that's something I've been talking about. And it's, you know, not trivializing or taking for granted those certain experiences. I was talking to my other friend, and she was saying, we were talking about, like, what happened? You know, when she gets a person, you know, and it's like, oh, but my best friend. And it's like, well, you know, and it's kind of like, oh, well, how would that work or whatever? And I said, well, you know what? Let's not trivialize this experience and think too much about, you know, oh, how would it work? Because it's going to work out. How it's going to work out. And I said, and also looking at that, I think she was sharing at the time about how our friendship was showing her like what to look for, you know, like how you said it showed you like, okay, maybe this scenario of group of people isn't what's right because they're not pushing me to actually be better or to feel like I belong or something. So then it's like in the friendships, you kind of figure out how do you want the rest of your life to be, you know? And it's like, okay, I may not be with this one friend always or be able to spend every day, talk to them all the time, but right now we're learning from each other of how we want, what our group is supposed to be like in life. Yeah. You know, and watching a TV show recently, Following on MTV, and they've currently followed, it's only like 5 episodes.
Nice. I'm not cool enough to have cable, so.
It's okay. It was on YouTube. It's all posted. And the reason it was posted, let's just throw this little thing in there. Donate to the what is it? The Asian
Asian American Pacific Islander.
Thank you. What's the acronym?
AAPI.
Thank you. good to have a teacher in the room. The AAPI, donate to them, you guys, for protection and everything. You know, we want every group to feel protected. And that comes down to, you know, Black Americans, Asian Americans, Pacific Americans, even white Americans. We want you all, okay? Even though one may be a little bit higher than other, we want everything to be equal. So we need to take those steps. Make sure you donate to those fundraisers. And that's the reason, segueing back into, that the TV show was on YouTube. Because it was a famous influencer, Bretman Rock, and his sister Princess May, for those who out there in the makeup world who know about him and everything, and his friends. It was a group of 4 of them. You know, his cousin and an elementary school friend of theirs, and he's only 22, you guys, so that's in our age range. Yeah. And his sister is like 20, so you know they're all in that same range. And his cousin and his, like I said, friend from middle school. They're all, I mean, not from middle school, elementary school. They're all friends, and they basically followed them for a matter of a couple of weeks or so. I'm not sure. You know, TV's manipulating. And like, oh, this was a month. I thought it was 2 days. You know, so who knows? But exactly. But he was getting like work done on his house, so they rented a beach house, you know, for the purpose of the show and everything. And it just basically, watching it showed me like you really need to be, or you really need to build your own community. Yeah. You know, and that falls back into addressing change, because how difficult or is it, you know, to grow up with people, grow up with friends, because not saying that you were stuck there, but essentially you were. You know, you can't pay your way out of your parents' house. You know, it just is what it is. So you're there with them. You're there with those siblings. You're there with those friends and everything. And you can't always go to another school. No. It's your own school. You're going to do whatever the bus tell you to do, you know, whatever the bus take you to.
Exactly.
Or your parents drop you off in front of. So it's like, you know, the importance of building your own community and accepting that, you know, how you have to change from those people and everything. You know, I've been a person that has switched schools. I never went to I lied. I only went to one zone school. Actually, I lied. I didn't go to any zone schools. Oh my God, I never went to any zone schools.
I don't know what that term means.
Oh, I'm sorry. She's a local in Frostburg.
As a local in Frostburg, but also just for like people who like aren't in the area listening. Yes. That might be a good idea to explain it.
Thank you. A zone school is basically a school within a certain amount of it's like, you know how we pay taxes, tax brackets and stuff, and people, that right there. So it's like, oh, they pay taxes for this area. They go to this elementary, middle, and high. And I was fortunate enough to have how funny is that? I was fortunate enough to have the Lansdowne Middle and High School and elementary school all within less than a mile of each other. I think like 0.5 miles. So I mean, they had big fields in between, but it was like all right there. But even in elementary school, I went to Baltimore Highlands, which wasn't technically my zone school. It was around the corner. But it was technically wasn't. You know, and I had to address that change and thinking about friendships that I lost in a way. But you know, I was always a nice person, and that's important too, because a friendship really doesn't end. You know, you can go on halts, you can go on different parts of life. But if I see any of those friends today, like I have seen them on Instagram, seen them in person, we talk, laugh, good to see you, remember this, remember that, and we go about our business. If we want to do something, we can.
Which I know that's definitely not the case for some people, just because it's like maybe friendships ended not well, or like they're people that they're just like you naturally grew apart because of things. Like I know whenever I was in middle school, my best friend and I, we were like this, like I'm crossing my fingers, but we were really close, and then we ended up going to separate high schools, and then we naturally drifted apart. And we don't, like, if we see each other in public, we'll just say like, hi, how are you? And we'll do like those like general greetings, but it's not the same, like, it's not like jumping right back into it. And I don't think with some of those relationships, I don't think you can, just because like they were relationships of circumstance. Like, cause you were saying that you went to like not zone schools, and I realized we call them like in district or out of district.
Got you.
So we just have a different term for it. I just had to think. I was like, zone schools. But yeah,
what is a zone?
Yeah, no, we look at it like an out of district, and you apply for an out of district pass to go to a school that's not technically in your district.
Wow.
So yeah, but it's like you pay taxes and everything in the same. It's the same thing, but it's just we have different terms.
Got you. So. And that is important, because it's important to know like the healthy way to jump back in, and when to be okay with it not being that same way, you know?
For sure.
And that's all a part of learning to deal with your change. Because I have friends today, you know, not bashing them or anything, but like still are upset or, you know, feel some type of way because we all got busy.
Yeah.
You know, I'm an actor. Well, I was in high school. That was my trade. I went to high school for, or my prime, which was basically a trade area. For those who don't know what a trade is, it's like the area of focus, like a major.
Yeah.
In college. And, you know, I was an actor. I had vocal prime friends. And I had dance friends.
Yeah.
I mean, I had friends all over, but those are like my close groups. Yeah, those are my close groups. Acting. Well, one person is a art major, but I don't.
It happens.
Exactly, one person's an art major. But you know, and a couple of friends were like, oh, you know, one person said to me in a joking way that I was like fake or something, and I was like, huh? And it was like, yeah, you don't hang out with nobody, you don't call nobody or nothing. I'm like, huh? You know, and I'm just like, you know that we all busy, right? Like, it ain't the same.
No, it's not. And that's just it. Like, college is one of the biggest changes because of that. Like, you're no longer friends of circumstance, where it's like, oh, the people who are around you, like you were saying, that the people in your major and or like your, what was it called?
Prime.
Your prime. Your prime in high school. Like, those were your friends because those were the people you were with. College is not that way. It's so easy to find people in college who are nothing like you've ever experienced before.
Yeah.
Like, I met Reggie, and before that, I was like I was in like a lot of student council stuff.
Which you would never find me in. But
No.
okay.
Yeah, exactly. Student council. I was in robotics. I was in... Exactly, and you're sitting here shaking your head. I did marching band and other things. No, yeah. So it's like you run into these like you were friends with people because of circumstance.
Yeah.
But now I've come to college, and that's not the case at all. I ran into Reggie from work, and it just clicked.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
So it's like you
Even
have
though
to.
she can talk a lot, child, but I talk a lot too. But she be talking a whole lot.
But yeah, no, it's just talking and finding friends that are no longer of circumstance, but friends who you truly get along with.
Yes, that push you to do better.
Yeah, that push you to do better, that push you out of your comfort zone so you can learn more. Like, this is not something I would have ever felt comfortable doing. My mom back a couple years ago was like, oh, Carmen, you should start a podcast. And I was like,
me?
No.
Talk.
No, I mean, I like talking, but like, that's a little much.
Say, listen back, broadcast, huh?
Just no. But no, it's like, this is something that it's like, it's pushed me out of my comfort zone, and it's helped me grow more in like understanding things.
Yes.
So I think that that's really important, and finding those friends who push you out of your comfort zone, and you find those more in college.
Yes.
Which is why it's such a major changing point for a lot of people, including us.
Amen. Including us.
Yeah.
Including us. Because I would have never thought I would have found my other friend. You know, I would have never thought to have found her. Because she's a psychology.
Yeah.
You know, good and well. Okay? Let me tell you.
Yeah. No, it's like, it was just a circumstance. And it's like, wow, we really get along. And like, I'm education major. Reggie's mass comm.
Mass communication, video and audio.
Yeah, no. And it's like, completely, we would have never found each other under normal circumstances if we were in high school circumstances. Exactly.
The only way that she would have found me nowadays is if I did a video on a news article and she was showing her class. That's the only way she would have found me.
Yep, that's it.
Me in my life, I found some people because, like I said, I'm more of a faith-based person. So some people, and you know, like I said, trust me, everything ain't perfect, child. Yeah. But you know, I do embrace, you know, certain faith and everything. I embrace everybody. Let's just put it that way. But as far as for me and what I practice a little bit more, you know, some people look at me as like a role model a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
Not everybody sees everything, but from what I have shown, they see me as a role model. And that's how I ran into my other friend. They were able to, you know, say, okay, you know what, this is a change I want to do in my life to make me better. Yeah. You know, I need to find a better friend group and everything. You know, not necessarily saying that those friends that were in the other life were better, I mean, worse than me or anything, or better than me or whatever. But it's just that, you know, for your path, what you need, because you feel it. You know, a lot of people say stuff like, you know, what's right is based off of this and this. No, it's what you feel. Yeah. You know, it's really what you feel. Tomorrow, I could wake up and decide that something may be better because of something that didn't work. Yeah. You know, yesterday or work over the past year. You know, and we have that right to make those changes because it's life, child. If we live a full life, what is that, 100 years almost? Yeah. That's a lot of time.
That is a lot of time. And it's probably that little age thing is going to keep going up. Why am I thinking? Life expectancy.
Yes.
There it is.
Yes.
Life expectancy is going to keep going up for us because it's like we're healthier. We're getting new vaccines to help with things. Science is improving, and it's helpful. Like, it's making it so we're able to live longer, live fuller lives. And granted, COVID it took a lot of people's lives. Yeah. And it also prevented some people from being able to live theirs the way that they always wanted. But sometimes what they wanted wasn't what they needed.
Yes. Oh, my God. Say that again.
Exactly. Because it's like some of the ways that I was living my life, I was like, whew, why was I doing that again?
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
Running myself into the ground. I actually want to go back to something that your landlord just said, where he is saying that it is cheaper to build up than to build out.
Yes.
And we get annoyed with that sometimes. And I think ourselves, we can get annoyed with that. But I also think that that's a good metaphor.
It is.
For building our relationships. Because in high school, you and I were both super outgoing people.
Come on.
We were just like so outgoing, and we spread ourselves out.
Oh, Carmen is preaching up in here.
Really thin. But if we look at it from the perspective of building up and building up our relationships that we already have with people, then isn't it better? Isn't it like it's cheaper to do that? And it's also better for ourselves.
Yes.
And I think that that's something that we should kind of keep in mind. Is like it's really nice to spread yourself out a little bit, but making sure that you have a point of origin and having like that deep connection with somebody. Because granted, it may be cheaper because you're not as social and you're not as active, and people aren't going to know your name as well.
Yeah.
But for you to live a full life and for you to be able to live successfully, you want to have those deep emotional connections with people. So I was just like, you said that your landlord said that. I was like, we can use it as a metaphor.
How about that? So fitting. It's time to build up instead of just worrying about spreading yourself so thin. You know, it's better to build up. It's better to increase your value.
Because you only have so much emotional capacity and social capacity. Yeah. And sometimes it's better to build up because if you spread yourself too thin, then you start to lose some as you go. But if you have that like strong person right there in the middle, that's like a person you're able to go to and have those like strong emotional connections, then when those lower one stories start falling away, you have those great skyscrapers that you can have in your life.
That's right. And, you know, even with celebrities and stuff, you know, it's kind of like it's important because a lot of people say, you know, some celebrities aren't as personal. Yeah. If that makes any sense. Yeah. And it's like, oh, they have a very small friend group. And you see like Beyonce and Jay-Z, for instance. Yeah. Their friend group and the Kardashians really too. Like they have their friends and their friend group and that's who they hang out with. Yeah. You know, and it's like just because they are somebody who is very popular or something, they know the importance of honing in and finding that group that, and, you know, building that group. You have to leave some people behind a lot of times, you know, and leave some things. And
that's like, I think from an emotional maturity standpoint, that's like something you have to realize as you're growing older. And that was, I think, a big change that you and I have experienced since coming to college is,
it's not going to be like it was.
No, it's not going to be like it was where you can spread yourself that thin because at that time you have a little bit more social energy. Yep. But as you get older, you don't have that social energy anymore to be able to spread yourself so thin and still have those deep emotional connections. You have to make a choice. Yes. And that's something that's really important for you to realize as you come to college.
Yes, I agree with that. You know, and when I was talking to an advisor, I was talking to somebody in SSS, and I was telling them about the name of the school. I think we were talking about grit and stuff like that. And I was explaining to them how one night I had to end up staying in the lab all night because my computer storage filled up. For your video editors out there, here's a little tip, okay? Your computer storage will fill up if you're a video editor, especially if you have a MacBook Pro.
And you have like 1 terabyte of storage.
Oh my God, I have 1 terabyte. I'm unlimited. No, you're not. Okay. One video. She over here dropping stuff. One video editing project by itself, Carmen. Fun fact, is like 700 in something gigabytes. Yeah. Because, you know, if you do anything like I do, you add pictures, you add this, you add green screen effects, you do
you do so much.
Sound effects, everything. All that stuff adds up. And, you know, and then the exporting quality, this is a 4K computer, you know, that right there can take up so much. And I was telling her about how many times I wanted to quit that night because I ended up staying in the lab from like 8 p.m. until 12 p.m. when the actual thing that had to be recorded, not recorded, had to be edited, was supposed to go live. Yeah. I stayed up to make sure it was done because that was something I was real passionate about doing. And I was like, OMG, I was like, I could have quit so many times. And she was like, I was just talking to so-and-so about that, another advisor, about that grit and stuff that a lot of people don't have, and a lot of teachers and students on this campus don't have. And I was like, you are so right. I was like, because it really takes that, it really takes that sometimes. And I was like, a lot of times people are so worried about spreading out, just like we just said. And this is why I mentioned it. And this is not bashing, but our motto here at the school, and hopefully the right person hears this, is a world of experiences, one university, a world of experiences. And I was explaining to the lady, I said, sometimes I think they confuse the word experiences with opportunities.
Yes.
I said, because one thing about opportunity is you have to be, first of all, for an opportunity to be in existence, somebody has to be, or for an opportunity not to be in existence, for it to work.
Yes.
Okay. Or you be able to take advantage of it. Somebody has to be there to first offer it.
Yeah.
And then somebody has to be there to present it, and then it has to be taken.
Yes.
I said, now that right there is what we're in. Because we have a lot of things that are just there, but people aren't offering them. People aren't, aren't there to help you to take those things.
Yeah.
So we have 50 something majors or whatever.
Yeah.
But half of them aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing. And it's like Frostburg is only, I heard some people say Frostburg is only known for good 3 majors, and if it's not science or biology or something else or psychology, is really not good. And I was like, wow, I had to think about it, because I thought about even, within my major and stuff, and doubt, the benefit of the doubt with the pandemic, certain things. But when you look back in the past and see how things were falling, it's not so much that the teachers aren't good, but after a while you get to a point where you're spread out so much that it's like you can't put your hands on everything. And you stop focusing on the experience of the people.
I want it.
Exactly.
You're just tapping it. You're not diving in.
Exactly. And you're not really going into what it's meant to be, because you're so busy trying to reach for everything and reach over here and reach over there. And after a while, those people get tired, and they just start to give up and throw in the towel. So, so that's real important to realize, just like we were saying, build up instead of building out.
Yeah. Because it's like you can build out as far as you can, but you're just touching things. You're not being able to get the real depth out of them and getting to climb.
Exactly.
Up higher in your skyscraper with it. You're just going to touch it. It's a 1-floor building. And 1-floor buildings are nice.
Yeah.
They're good for resumes.
They are.
Because, job opportunities aren't going to see that it wasn't an in-depth experience. They're just going to see that little tap.
Yeah. Oh, he worked at the White House. Yeah, but he never met the president.
No.
He ain't never did no real work. He just was there as a secretary.
Yeah.
But they look at that and it's just like, oh, I want.
So it's nice to have those little touchstones once in a while.
Yeah.
But if that's everything that you're doing, are you really living a full life?
Well, you guys, well, here is a segment that I like to do in my podcast, and it's called What is Your Intake? And this is where we will just be going over what, usually what we'll be eating or watching or reading. For those who like to read, I'm not one of them. But normally what we'll be doing that week, or what we have done over the past week. But because this is the beginning of summer, summertime, let's just sit back and unwind. I love that song. Yeah, the world, it goes round and round. Okay, I'm not gonna rap the part, but that's Will.
I don't know what that
You don't know that song. Well, that's Will Smith. He was singing that song, and he's on a big body positivity thing. I was like, he's on his Lizzo. I love it.
That's awesome.
He said, well, he tweeted the worst shape I've been in life, and he put a picture of him, a little bit extra. It's really not that bad, but for Will, he's always been a little slim. And then he retweeted or reposted and said the best shape he's been in his life, because he realized how happy he still was and how good he still looked. So, but, we're going to be talking about what we are intaking this week. And, I would let ladies go first, but I'm so excited to tell you guys what I want to go.
Yeah.
So, you guys, I'm going to stop eating ChickFilA.
What?
For the summer.
Reggie? I'm sorry. I think you're going to burst my brain. You're going to stop eating ChickFilA this summer?
If you don't know me, you know I love ChickFilA.
That's why I'm so shocked.
It hurt to just come out my heart. Yes, I will stop eating Chick-fil-A for the summer, you guys. Let me get the stats. I am now a signature member at Chick-fil-A. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh
Please hold the
This is
applause.
surprised me
Thank you
a
so much.
bit.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Stop. Stop clapping for real. Stop. 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 Stop it. Stop. Ah. Okay, they stop. What? I said stop. You playing too much now. But I have 10,469 points, and I am on the highest totem pole in Chick-fil-A statuses. I am a signature member where I get the signature rewards and all of that kind of stuff. $1 equals 13 points. And every meal that I would get from Chick-fil-A is about no less than 10. Because I get full meals. I get frosted coffee. I get fruit, French fries, and nuggets. So it's about $14. So that's a lot of points.
That's a lot of points.
But I will stop eating Chick-fil-A. So that's one thing I'm excited about. So that way when I come back to school, I can use my points and I can eat for free. And also I can have an appetite. Because we know if we overeat some things, we start to lose the appetite for it. So that's what I don't want to do.
Yeah. No,
and also this summer I will be starting a brand new project.
Yay, more projects for Reggie to kill himself
I know,
over.
I know. And this is really just an overhaul project. So look forward. You thought that Oprah was something.
Ooh.
And that's all I'm going to say.
Ooh.
That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, you've got me excited now.
That's all I'm going to say.
Gosh.
That's all I'm going to say. And I'm gonna move on to what I am using. I'm using this new soap, you guys. I wish you could see my face. Oh my god. I wish you could see my face. I'm using this new soap and these new self-care products, NS Cosmetics. You can look for it in another video. I'm pretty sure I'll promote it some more. This is a friend from my high school, you guys. She is doing a daggone thing with these cosmetics. You ought to get you some refresher spray or some daily foam face wash or some shea butter skincare or some NS Glow overnight mask.
Oh my gosh.
I'm telling you, okay? Or this peppermint soap, the peppermint Carmen. Be honest. Does my skin, I know you probably, because, Carmen sees me from my heart, you guys. So, she really doesn't judge me for the outside appearance. So if I ask her, she may not see too much of a difference because, some people haven't. But if you look at my skin, if you can think back to when you first met me, how many dark marks I had.
Yes.
Can you just see, how much smoother,
Yeah, exactly. His skin has just gotten, a much healthier glow to it, and it's not overmarked to the point where it's not like taking away from his natural shine and beauty.
Oh, well, thank you. She's so nice. She's trying to get some money, but you ain't getting none. Okay, I ain't getting paid yet. I'm just kidding. You don't get no check just yet.
It's okay.
But, and I'll be doing that. And, as far as just trying to get my life together, this summer, you guys, I want you all to take a vacation. If you haven't heard that Vacations podcast, you ought to listen to it. It's pretty funny. But I want you guys to take a vacation and just relax and get your life in order. Because a lot of us are students. Not everybody's done for real. We have another year or another semester, So we you really have to take this time of break to not overwork yourself, but to really reorganize your life. And that's what I'll be doing. So that's going to be my intake this summer, reorganizing my life so I can be prepared for when I come back to Carmen, because we got to do bingo and we got to do trivias and we have to do DIY Reggie and Carmen.
I missed it.
Oh, I missed it too. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's going to be something. It will be something. But Carmen, you go ahead, Carmen.
Okay. Well, I guess I will say this really quickly. I'm going to be here all summer in Frostburg. And I'm actually going to be kind of bringing UPC back strong for this upcoming fall.
And what's UPC?
UPC, University Programming Council. It's the place that Reggie and I work for, where we plan safe events on campus for students to kind of get away, relax, have fun. And I'm going to be here all summer doing that.
Yes.
So, but besides working this summer and possibly substitute teaching for the beginning part of it, because I am an education major. I just did my first internship this past fall.
Go ahead.
And I'm getting substitute teacher training next week. So I'll be able to start substituting for the rest of this year and for next fall.
We love to see it.
And I know. I'm so excited. But along with that, okay. So for listening, I am going to be catching up on the tripod, which is the Try Guys, the most amazing. Well, besides Reggie, the Reggie Segment.
Thank you.
The Try Guys have this amazing YouTube channel. They're based out in LA, and they are overall just like this great group of guys who like don't like participate in toxic masculinity and have a ton of fun.
That's right.
And I'm really behind on their podcast because they put out podcast every week, and I don't think I've gotten to listen to it since the April before COVID.
How long are their podcasts?
What? It's like an hour.
Oh,
so
okay.
it's like it's a bit of a listen. So it's like I've got to like sit down and like listen to it over the summer because I missed out on so much, and they're really funny. They have just like this really good energy that I just soak up.
Yeah.
So I love listening to that, and I'm also planning on reading. I'm gonna jump to reading. I'm planning on reading one of my favorite book series from middle school, which is called the Gallagher Girls series, and it's about teenage spies.
Okay.
It's the bomb. The first book is I'd tell you I love you, but then I'd have to kill you.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's the book.
That's the first book, and
Wow.
it's like there's all these books about teenage girl spies that are like training at a private school, and all this stuff is going on. It's amazing, and I want to reread it before I go back and start working in like middle and high schools again, so I can be like a good book recommendation for some students.
That seems amazing.
Yes,
I like
I'm planning on
that.
doing that, and I'm also reading these other things now. This is so niche. I wouldn't even say niche because it's actually like. It has a good community on the internet, but I have a feeling a lot of you aren't going to know what this is. So they are called SCP writings. They are Secure, Contain, Protect.
I don't know what that is.
No, exactly. I figured you wouldn't. And it's basically horror writing, but in like the style of like research.
Okay.
So it's like running into like research things that are
horrific.
Yeah, it's like, but it's like, so it's like these people who have made like these out of world experiences and these otherworldly objects and creatures that are like not things. One of my favorite ones that I've read is one that is a research study on a creature that can be only explained by telling you what it's not. So it's like people will like look at it, like somebody has looked at it, and then they go and try to explain to somebody, and literally the only thing they can do is if somebody asks them questions, they can say, it's not that. It's not that. It is that, but it's very bizarre, and they're like these weird horror readings, and so I'm going to be reading them over the summer because I think they're very interesting, and they're like tons of creative energy has been put into it.
So it's like a mixture of Saw, Last 48, and Law and Order.
I guess, but it's like they're horror writings, but just in like a very unique style. And it's something that I've been looking into because of a project that I'm doing over the summer. And so I'm looking into those to kind of gain some research, gain some knowledge. And overall, like they're really interesting because they're written by like people that they're like they've studied the style and they're writing like in the style.
Yeah.
And kind of seeing how like this organization works and writing their own stories out of it.
Got you.
So they're really interesting and they're really creative, and so that's why I'm going to be like researching that over the summer. I'm writing a jukebox musical with Little Mix Music. That's another thing I'm working on over the summer that has nothing to do with the SCP thing because that would be really weird. Horror writings and Little Mix. How does it mix? I mean, that'd be really interesting.
It would.
Gosh dang it, Reggie, put that in my brain.
Well.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's
well.
Reggie's face is just like, wait, really? I'm also planning on watching a lot of Minecraft videos over the summer and watching one of my favorite series on Minecraft, which is called Mayanite. Once again, I would not expect you to know what that is. It's very
somebody at home is listening that knows.
Yeah, that is what it is. Yeah, but it's just a series where it's like 6 years old at this point. But I wanted to because I used to watch them like live back in middle school and early high school days. Actually, wait, 6 years ago. That was high school, right?
It was. Yeah, it was.
Oh, I don't like that.
It was 10th grade?
10th, yeah, that sounds right. But I would go home and I would watch the live streams after school. Yeah. And it was so much fun.
Like, we're getting old. I ain't like that.
I don't like it either. No, I was just like, wait, how long ago was high school? 6 years.
The fact that we really started 7 years ago.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
But you guys, I'm going to let you go. Carmen, I thank you for coming.
Absolutely.
I thank you for coming. You always a good friend to me.
Mm-hmm.
She came over my apartment, child. She's been vaccinated, thank God, because she wasn't coming in here without it. I'm just kidding.
No. Oh no, that's fine. I think it's completely valid for you to say, "Oh, I don't want you in my house because you might be carrying a deadly disease."
I mean, I can't go in the grave just yet. I had my obituary made, but I can't go. You've seen it, Well,
I know of it. Yeah.
if you want to see my obituary, go back to the Thanksgiving Thankful to Be Alive video at about 2 minutes. 2 minutes, I posted a short picture of the front of my obituary. But before I get too deep into that, you guys, I love you. I thank you so much for tuning in. Carmen, say goodbye to the people.
Goodbye, lovely people.
Isn't she so? Isn't she lovely? Well, you guys, I love you. Happy summer. And like I said, subscribe to the Reggie segment because I will be dropping those bangers, as the Prince family says, back to back for the rest of 2021. Love you guys, and I'll see you soon.
Goodbye.
Carmen, do you want to go ChickFilA?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. I know. I'm hungry, child. I'm hungry.